Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on a beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you again for everyone for taking out time for coming for this wonderful webinar. We're going to be talking about some really interesting topics. I'm going to be your host and co-presenter today, Ashwin Dewan. I have also a wonderful speaker here with me, who is Sonia Dubey Dewan, who is the founder of ISIM, and she's going to be sharing a lot of secrets, important tips, and a lot of guidance on how to really crack that blueprint for becoming an image consultant, and most importantly, a successful image consultant. Few housekeeping rules. If you would have all noticed that you are on mute. So for the purpose of this webinar, we have kept you on mute so that there is no interruptions and everyone can hear us clearly. During the webinar, if you have any questions, any doubts, please feel free to use the chat window to ask questions, interact with us. So I or my team can come back and reply back to any questions that you may have. At the end of the session, we will have an open Q&A session where Sonia and myself will try to address any and all questions that you may have during the session altogether. So without further ado, let's get started with this session altogether. So again, welcome to the Blueprint to a Career in Image Consulting. This program or this session is going to be presented by Sonia Dubey Dewan, AICI CIP. Just to start off, first to give you a broad introduction about Indian School of Image Management. ISIM is an institute based out of India as well as international presence. We are an institute that actually offers image consulting, soft skills, as well as fashion-related courses. We have professional certification programs as well as executive programs that we provide to our students. We are based out of Mumbai, New Delhi, Bangalore, and also an international campus based out of Mauritius. So that's a little bit of a brief background about us. A few important details. ISIM was awarded Excellent Vocational Training Institute in the year 2020 by the Indian government, MHRDA. It has also been awarded an Excellent Vocational Training Institute by the United Nations. This was a really proud moment for all our alumni as well as our faculty and institute itself. We are also very proud to say that we are an accredited institute, and we are accredited by a body called AICI, which stands for Association of Image Consultants International. What this means is that all our programs which we teach or you learn are internationally accredited, recognized, and actually accepted in most or all countries across the world. All right, so that's an important fact about our accreditation. Now, that's a little bit about ISIM. Now let's get to the main topic of today, who is going to be presenting to you. So it is a really honor for me to present and introduce to you our founder and founder of Indian School of Image Management, Sonia Dubey Dewan. She is an entrepreneur, an image consultant, a certified image professional by AICI, and interestingly, the very first certified image professional in India itself. She is a Global Emmy Award winner, the first in India and only 8 in the world. She is also the founding member of OMP, which is the World Forum for Protocol, Image, and Communication. She is dubbed as a fairy godmother of transformation by many publications because of her extensive work with a very large forte of professionals, entrepreneurs, management experts, companies, Fortune 500 companies over the last 13 to 14 odd years. She has presented in multiple countries and taught in multiple countries across the world. She has also been one of the first people in India who have now trained over 200 image consultants globally. So that is the one who's going to be presenting to you and sharing with you how the roadmap or the blueprint of becoming a successful image consultant. She will be sharing a lot of tips from her own personal experience of the last decade and a half that she has worked in. So without further ado, Sonia, I would like to now let you start the presentation and take it forward from here.
Thank you, Ashwin, for the wonderful introduction. And good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to Indian School of Image Management. And actually on a Sunday, so that's really, I'm glad that you all took out time from your personal time and are listening to me today. So let's understand what is the quick agenda for in the webinar. What are we going to cover? So we will be talking about, in the next 60 minutes, we'll be talking about what is image. I'll be taking you through short introduction about, although it's a very vast topic and there's so many layers to it. However, we'll try to understand it as much as possible in these 60 minutes. We'll go to the image management. We'll then go into the blueprint on how to become an image consultant, moving on to how and where to start, and finally the career opportunities, and we'll be breaking a few myths. So let's get started. Now, before I begin, I want you all to basically, we will start with an activity. Let's have a little bit of interaction. Let's keep this an open session. So if anything that comes into your mind, because as I said, it's a vast, complicated topic. The more you discuss, the more you share your feelings, your opinions, it's better, okay? So what I want you to do is to be with me and visualize with me with this particular situation, okay? And the situation is focused on you. So you need to visualize yourself in that particular situation. So all of you just can get into that mode that we are trying to understand or feel a particular situation, okay? Now the situation is, which I don't really want any of you to face ever, but yes, the situation here is that imagine that you're facing some kind of a health issue. Let's take a stomach ache, okay, or a stomach related issue, and it's not going away after a long time. You have tried all the home remedies, you have tried all the over the counter, medicines that your chemist prescribed you. You also consulted one or two, doctors, and it is just not going away. So there is this friend of yours who says that, hey, let's go there, and why don't you just go and meet a surgeon or a specialist or somebody like that. So you find out the doctor, you search about the best doctor in the town, okay, and the best doctor around you, and you want to just go and check about all the different things, all the different ailments that you're facing. You got an appointment with the person, you got an appointment 3 weeks later. Okay, so you didn't get any appointment immediately, you got an appointment 3 weeks later. So you have to wait for 3 weeks. And in that time period, you are having a lot of issues with your stomach ache. Your pain is increasing, you're on medication throughout those 3 weeks, and it's just not going away. Now, 3 weeks are gone by, and then you finally arrive at the clinic of this particular doctor. Okay, you enter in, as you enter into the clinic, there are always a lot of patients, right? So there are a lot of patients who are waiting in the lobby and in the waiting area, and you're one of them. And while you're over there, what happens in our mind? We are thinking about all the history that I'm going to go inside and I will tell my doctor about that I've been having this pain for the past 3-4 weeks. It's not going away. I tried this medicine. I met a couple of doctors. They gave me prescription. And I tried home remedies, I tried over-the-counter prescription, but nothing is working. So you are doing a mental, jot down of all the ailments or all the symptoms that you faced in the last 4 weeks. You're also a little bit apprehensive. Means I am a person, whenever I'm going into, a clinic or I have to meet a doctor, I get nervous because you don't know what will come out. You don't know what will be the result, and you're not prepared for it. So I'm thinking from that perspective that because this is something that has not gone away, it's just increasing day by day. So I assume that all of us will be a little nervous that what is it? I just really am curious to know. And you will be just, preparing yourself mentally. Now, finally, all the people before you have gone, and it's your turn to enter into the clinic, okay? When you enter into the doctor's cabin and you open the door, and the moment you open the door, you see this person sitting across the table. My question to all of you is, and you can use chat now to give your answer, how would you feel? We're just simply talking about how would you feel when you'll enter the clinic and you will see this person sitting across the table. You can share your feelings into the chat box. Feel free, whatever is coming, even if it's a one word, what is your feeling when you enter and see this person in the doctor's cabin, sitting on the doctor's chair? Let's hear some answers. Okay. Disappointed. All right. Kate says disappointed. Okay. Kate, meanwhile, while everyone is answering giving their answers, do you want to explain why you were disappointed? Taranum will think, is it a hospital, came some other place? Yes. And I think that is leading to confusion, which even Ravneet said. Payal is surprised and confused. Gopika, he's looking like a tattoo artist. Absolutely. Looks like he's a gangster. Akshaya. Smile on face. Okay. So this is what that will be on your face. So you will be smiling when you look at it. Okay. What else you will feel? K. Chandrasekhar. What else would you feel? So you'll smile and what else? Okay. Ajal will get nervous. All right. Can we hear more? Is he reliable? Now you're questioning his reliability or his credibility. That's great. Okay, Payal. Anyone else who would like to share something else? Or we are all on the same page over here, right? Yeah, so we are disappointed, we are surprised, confused, nervous, questioning his credibility, thinking that, oh my God, is this a prank or we are somewhere else? Am I in the tattoo parlor? Where am I, right? And you are just suddenly lost. Like imagine your thought process at that point of time. Instead of focusing on your symptoms and all that mental jot down of all your symptoms that you have done in the last half an hour waiting outside, will just completely vanish. You will be just somewhere else altogether. You'll be just taken aback by surprise, right? Now, let's revise the situation once again, okay? So let's go back to the same situation. You're waiting outside, you're making that mental jot down of all the symptoms, all the things that you have faced. And now you enter once again into the same cabin and you see this person. How would you feel? So let's hear in the chat box. Now, when you enter into the cabin and you see this person, how would you feel? Trust, of course. Ravneet says trust. Trust by his image. Chandrasekhar said yes. Trust his image. Okay. What else? So trust is coming in. So yes, the question of reliability or credibility. Ravneet is relieved. Yes. Payal is relaxed. Okay. I'm at the right place. I'm not somewhere else. Okay. Happy now will get treatment. Yes. So very much focused on, okay, I'm at the right place. And now I just need to not focus about the surrounding, who is this person, but I know that this is the time to get treated. What else? Can we hear more? So relief, relax, trust, will get treatment. It's focused on it. So yes, if I have to look at, I think all of you would be in a happier place or in a more relaxed or easy space when you see this person across the table. Credibility. Gopika is saying, yes, he's looking more credible. So there's more credibility over there. Now, if I would like to draw your attention to the main part over here, that these both are the same people, exact same person. But what changed over here? What changed? What made you question his credibility? What made you confused? What made you that he's not reliable? You were not able to trust him? Was, yes, Ravneet, you have guessed it correct, his looks, his image. You are absolutely right about it. It's the same person, but how they portrayed themselves. Yes, Ravneet, you are absolutely on the point. How they portrayed themselves, how they showcase themselves for the situation, for the place, for the atmosphere they are in. In the first scenario, which is the left-hand side, their image was not appropriate for the place, for the people they were about to meet. It is absolutely all right that the person is like this doctor is someone who is really, into tattoos. It's his personal hobby. But then is that the hospital a place to showcase that? So it was not appropriate. His image was not appropriate for the place, for the people he was in front of. And in this scenario, it was just the moment you opened the door and you walked in and you saw something, you saw an appearance, you saw a physical appearance of a person. And on the basis of that, all these thoughts of either relying on him or not relying on him came in your mind immediately. So what does this process say? What does this this whole thing says. He's not even spoken to you. You've not even greeted him. You don't even got the time to meet him, but you have already formed, your mind has already started feeling and started, interacting with the emotion of the other person, right? So yes, Ravneet, absolutely, that the tattoo might be there, but they were not visible later because he is now appropriately dressed for the occasion, for the place that he is in, for the role that he has to fulfill in this particular place. And it is all happening without any format of communication. The feelings, the opinions, the interest, the perception is already being formed. So what does this process, why I made you do this activity, what this process explained to you is that you are always communicating. There is no way at any point of time. Communication is not just that you have to start speaking. Even when you are not speaking, you are always communicating. You cannot not communicate. Your appearance, your image, and what you project to other people also speaks volumes. And when it speaks volume, that creates a perception of you. The example or the process or the visualization that I took you through, that was also one of those events where you see something for the first time and it starts processing the data that you capture, it starts processing in your mind, and that starts creating a perception. And that particular event of seeing something for the first time and start to create perception in the first few seconds of opening the door and entering and looking at someone is called first impression. The first impressions take, all of you are aware about it, the first impression takes less than 3 to 5 seconds, even sometimes less than 3 seconds. Sometimes it's a blink of an eye. Sometimes the first glance. It's just the first few seconds that creates the first impression of a person. And most of the time, the first impression is the last impression. Why is that? Because that is a time when you have been exposed to the person for the first time, when you have captured all the data because you have landed your eye on it for the first time. It's when one person encounters another person for the first time, captures what all he or she sees, and forms a mental image of that person. Sometimes it's the only opportunity. It's like a welcome mat, how we sometimes put the welcome placard or a welcome mat in front of our homes to make people feel that our house is welcoming. It's like a welcome mat or a welcome placard of yourself, where you actually give an opportunity to the other person to decide that are you worth their time, the investment of their time, effort. Are you someone they should be listening to? Are you someone that is worth spending time with? And that is why first impression is one of the most important event. Now, when we move further, let's understand how this first impression actually ends up creating an image. When you capture this information, there's a perception that gets created in your mind. How you just did that with the doctor. You said with the tattoo look, and he was wearing the t-shirt and the jeans, and you looked at him and you decided he's not credible, he's not reliable, you're in a wrong place, he's the wrong person. What was happening? You created an image of a person. And that image is not in the mind of the person you're creating an image of, it's in your mind. And first impression is the one that leads to forming an image. So let's understand what image is. Image is a mental picture of you in the minds of other people. What is the mental picture, perception of you in the eyes and the mind of other people who can see you? And how does this mental picture get created? Of course, first impression is one of the opportunity, but you are also constantly assessed, evaluated, and judged on what you are projecting to the other person. So if you think of the first definition, that your image is what you are, or a mental perception of you in the eyes and minds of other people, a lot of people tell me or ask me, that's so risky. People can think whatever they want, and they can create any mental impression of you. But the truth is that they are assessing, evaluating, and judging you on the basis of what you are projecting to them. So eventually it is in your hand. You decide what you are going to be serving to them, and that leads to becoming your image, which eventually over the period of time becomes your identity. If you keep projecting the same thing over and over and over again, the image becomes your identity. You get known, or you become known for that particular perception of yours because you have been projecting it over and over and over again, right? And yes, as I said, you are projecting, so it is in your control. You decide what other people are going to be thinking about you, what perception they're going to be forming about you. It is almost 90 to 95% in your control. And that process of actually managing your image on an ongoing basis is called image management. When you take control of what you're going to be projecting, it is a conscious and ongoing. So these are two key words, conscious and ongoing. These are very important two key words in the process of image management. Conscious is to be aware about what you are projecting and what in your appearance is projecting that. For example, if that doctor is someone who starts taking control of his image, he will realize that these tattoos are something that is projecting an image of a gangster or someone who's very passionate about tattoos and not of a doctor. So what he did, he became conscious, aware about what image he's projecting. So the moment he put on a shirt or the doctor's coat or something and he covers it up, he's now consciously covering it up because he knows that that can lead to creating a different perception, can be a distraction. So it's a conscious process. And the second important keyword is ongoing process. You can't just do it once because, as I said, image leads to identity. You need to keep doing it over and over and over again so that it becomes your identity. So conscious and ongoing, these two things are most important. And you're consciously and on an ongoing basis evaluating yourself. As I gave you the example of the doctor who's always checking his tattoos, that this may be creating this image, my t-shirt would be creating a different image. Yes, making it habitual, correct, Ravni. And also not just stopping at that point where you have got control of it, continuously enhancing, taking it to the next level so that it becomes more positive. So image management, when you learn the process of image management, it gives you the power to take control of your own image, modify it, improve it, enhance it, so that you can present the best version of yourself. Okay, so that's image management. Now let's understand who are the people who actually do this. Okay, so how do you get done about it? That's where image consultants come into the picture. Image consultants are the people who are expert in the process of image management, who know how to consciously and on an ongoing basis evaluate and enhance you. Why? Because they are the experts in the ABC of image. That is, A stands for appearance, B stands for behavior, C stands for communication. Appearance is everything that I see in you, in your physical appearance. It's not just your clothes. Clothes are very important. It's also your grooming. It's also the accessories. It's all about your physical presence as well, your body language, your weight, your height, your physical characteristic. All of those things combined together come into the appearance. B is behavior. How do you interact? How do you behave with the other person? Say, for example, the second one, the second picture in the doctor's example, the second picture is the person sitting across the table, right? So you are absolutely happy. Oh, I'm at the right place. He looks reliable. I can trust him. And, he's the doctor and I will get the treatment, right? That's the feeling that you got. Now imagine you went there, you sat there, and this doctor didn't even look at you. It was a 2-minute conversation. You had 4 weeks of history that you have jotted down. He didn't greet you. He didn't take your name, look at you. He was just busy looking down, doing something on his phone, asking you basic questions without even making an eye contact. How would you feel? Now, From the looks point of view, he was absolutely perfect, right? But now, from an interpersonal behavior point of view, how would you feel? Would you still feel that comfortable? You still be okay with the person not making any eye contact, not acknowledging you, the doctor not even looking at you, ignored, exactly. You will feel that, rude and disappointing. Yes, that I have come, waited 3 weeks for this particular appointment, and the doctor has just 2 minutes to give to me without even looking at me. So the behavior also matters. Yes, it comes a little bit later. Always appearance is followed by behavior, because the first instance when you see something is the appearance, your eyes, your visual, visual senses, your eyes capture the visual imagery. And then comes the behavior, the interpersonal, arrogant, let down. Yes. Imagine that now. Let's move on to the third one, the communication. His behavior was okay. He smiled at you. He asked you to sit down, take a seat. He's interacting with you very nicely. But his communication skills is absolutely bad. He's not asking the questions. His questions are confusing you even further. He's not really audible, or his communication style or his verbal communication is not apt. He's not able to portray or explain to you the symptoms or what you're going through very well. Imagine a doctor telling you exactly biological terms of what is happening with you and not explaining it in a layman language. He starts using all the biological terms of that there's this thing wrong with this particular part of your body and this thing wrong with and using absolutely medical technical terms, and you will be completely lost. What is this doctor saying? So the third one is communication skills, right? So ABC is what makes an image and holistic one. If you focus on any one of these, it just goes a little bit, uneven. It's not balanced. An image consultant is an expert in the appearance, the behavior, and the communication. They are expert in all the three areas. So let's understand, how do you become an expert in the ABC? How do you become a successful image consultant? So today I'm going to be sharing the blueprint with you all to basically explain you how can you get started. And to explain this to you, I would like to draw an analogy of when you build a house. Okay, so when you build a house, what do? Do you get a piece of land and do you start constructing right away? Not really. Before you start actually constructing above the ground, the first thing that we all do is to dig below the ground. And what do we do while we are digging below the ground? We are laying down foundation. The foundation, it's always said that more, if you want something really solid, really structured, something that is long lasting, something that is going to endure for years and years and years and centuries, it needs to have a solid foundation. So the first step to become a successful image consultant is the solid foundation, which is your education. For any career, if you have to take, the foundation of a successful career or successful journey is a solid education. And the education, that is not just something that is just preliminary level. It has to be something that is holistic. So solid foundation of a holistic education. Then is when you start putting in your beams and your columns. When you start constructing, you start making your beams and your columns once you have a solid foundation. And then just like that, like how you're building your house with a solid foundation, this is where your experience comes into the picture for becoming a successful image consultant. As we say, practice makes you perfect. The more and more you practice, the more and more you try your hand on people, transforming them, taking them to the next level, that is going to give you something that is a strong column, strong beams, just like your house, which can take all the weight of the structure that you're going to build in. So invest into your experience. And finally comes the next part, which is the roof. The roof sits on these two, the foundation and the experience. And what is this? This particular part is the credibility that you actually form for yourself. This is where all your awards, all your recognition, your marketing, your global recognition, professional certification that you gain over the period of time is what your credibility is. And combined together, these three things, your foundation, your experience, and your credibility combined together creates a solid foundation of becoming a successful image consultant. And once you have this solid foundation and you have this solid structure, just like a house, you have a solid structure, it doesn't stop you there. If your foundation is strong, if your foundation is really strong, you can take it to the next level and you can actually build a building out of it. Make many floors, make many levels out of it. Because you have the foundation which is holistic in nature, which can actually take you to various, open more doors and opportunities for you, and you can create expertise into a particular domain or dive into a particular area where you can get into the area of life coaching, become a wedding stylist or a personal branding consultant or an NLP practitioner, motivational speaker, celebrity styling, communication trainer, body language trainer, etiquette expert. You could become any one of these, or you can combine 2 or 3 of these together and offer it to the people. So your journey does not really end at a small house that you have made. You can continuously keep adding layers after layers, floors after floor to your solid foundation because it's built on that solid foundation of knowledge. And that doesn't just stop you. You can continuously keep building, open up more avenues, and the ultimate goal should be to create something to reach to a level where, yes, you can actually build the tallest tower in the world with your knowledge based on a super foundation and a very solid foundation of your knowledge, of your expertise, of your credibility, of your experience combined together. Sky is the limit. So this is exactly the steps to follow when you have to become a successful image consultant. And I would like to open this house to all of you. If you have any questions till now to these steps, feel free to actually write those questions in the chat while I hand it over to Ashwin. Ashwin, over to you.
Okay, so thanks so much, Sonia. I think this makes it a little bit much more clearer for us that what exactly is it needed. So as Sonia said, the foundation is the critical part. Now, one of the questions that comes most often to all of us is, all right, this is great. We want to build the house. We want to build the building. We want to build the skyscraper also. But where do we really get started? What is that first step that we need to take? So as an institute, what we really recommend and we always propagate to each one of our students, our alumni, and anyone who's interested in getting into this progression or this profession is start with your education. And the image management certification program, which is provided by ISIM, is exactly what you need to build that foundation. That foundation that does not only limit you to become an image consultant, but as Sonia said, create that building which can keep adding every month, every year, a new floor altogether. That new floor is a new expertise that you add on to it. But the foundation is what provides you that. So I'm just going to take a quick 5 to 7 minutes to run you through what the course is and what and how it works. I will then hand it back to Sonia to really address some of the more important mythbusters, talk us a little bit more about the career, and share her own personal expertise over the last 15 odd years, her own personal expertise of working in this industry and becoming a successful image consultant and entrepreneur, and get her advice on it. So then I will go back to Sonia. So again, just to give you a quick run through about the image management course, it is a professional certification program. It is ideally for people who want to get into this as a profession, not only just as a knowledge building, but truly as a profession. It touches on all intermediate to advanced level subjects. It is commonly known as an image consulting course by many, but yes, truly it is actually known as an image management course. All right, it is internationally accredited and recognized as a course also. Importantly, with the certifications at the end of this course, as we talked about the accreditations as well as the credibility that required with your house when you're building your blueprint, this is where the credibility can come in also. The certifications that you get, which really confirm you as an image consultant at a global international level. So these are the certificates that students receive at the end of the course. Now, more importantly, what is the program? So what is the program phases? So what we like to highlight is there are three parts of the program. The first is the learning phase, the second is the experience, and the third is the career mentorship. And then finally, the output of all that hard work is a certified image consultant. All right. So again, just to run you through these three phases, the learning phase, let's start with that and let's understand what does this exactly mean. When we're talking about the learning phase, we're talking about the course curriculum. We're talking about the in-depth knowledge of every single thing. You learn everything from your essentials, which are all your appearance related modules such as color, image for men, your styling, all those elements which really tell you how to master that A between the A, B, C, as Sonia explained to us. The advanced holistic is where you really learn all those soft skills, the behavioral skills, the communication skills, the presentation skills, the public speaking skills. So the curriculum is actually a holistic curriculum that does not only focus on appearance, but actually equally focuses on behavior and communication also. So it gives you a holistic way of working. So it's not about if you are going to go and work with that doctor, which Sonia explained, we're not just going to help them put them in the appropriate outfit, but it's also the behavioral skills and the communication skills that you can teach them. Talking a little bit about what part of this entire curriculum, there are close to around 24 to 25 subjects that you learn everything from design, fashion, elements of design, color, body analysis, personality styles, grooming, etiquette, communication. As we said, there's a large curriculum that you really learn. Not only subjects, there are practicals. There are approximately 10 practical sessions that you do online or in person. Both options are there for our students to learn. Then there are approximately 6 mock sessions. These are those mock sessions that actually tell you how to implement all the theories, principles, and practical aspects that you've learned. Because just learning the concepts or methodologies is not enough. Learning and having the confidence to deliver that in front of a person or to an individual, that is very critical when you're learning image management. How this course is delivered in 3 formats. It's an online course. So if you'd like to study this completely online live training, that is something that you can do. You do not have to be in any of the cities that ISIM has presence. We have students all the way from different cities and smaller cities and big cities in India to all the way in different countries, from Italy, from Germany, from Australia, from Brazil. You have students who are learning this across the world. The second is the blended way. The blended is the mix of online as well as offline. This is available to all our students. You can learn all your theories, your concepts online. You can master them. And then if you still feel that, hey, you know what, I need to really get a little bit more hands-on experience, come down to one of our centers and repeat your practical sessions. Those practical sessions which I mentioned, those 10 different practical sessions, repeat those practical sessions, master them. That is the critical aspect. And of course, the third aspect is the in-person. If you are looking for a complete in-person experience, we are now offering our courses in person also. Obviously, that requires an investment or a aspect where you have to be in the cities where we have our physical presence. So if you are in any of those cities and want to opt for an in-person option, you can do that. But keep one thing in mind, that irrespective of the medium, the education, the certification, the time, the effort, the subject matter, the faculty, every single thing is consistent and the same as. The only difference is the delivery medium. So depending on whatever you're most comfortable, you can find that fit for yourself. So that's the first phase. That's the experience. That was the learning phase. Now let's go to the second phase, the experience phase. The experience phase is where you get that real world experience. See, learning it is one challenge. The second challenge is actually taking what you've learned and implementing it. This is where we push our students to dive to the deep end of the pool, learn how to swim and float. This is where you would be having an opportunity to conduct a an actual live training session, not a mock session, not a test session, a live session with live participants. Could have anywhere between 20 to 30 participants in it. You decide the topic, you are guided, mentored, and provided the support with the faculty to deliver them. Why we do this is because this is the proof is in the pudding. You get the opportunity to actually implement what you've been learning for months and months and months. So it's very critical step of the entire program. After you've achieved the experience stage, the journey doesn't end there. It's also the third phase, the support and the mentorship. Now, in this part, it's all about the business support. Now, one very critical thing that you want to keep in mind is that approximately 95% of individuals who do study these programs end up going down an entrepreneurial route. Not that everyone goes down that. There are very good classical examples from our alumni who are now working in very successful positions in companies such as Reliance or a lot of other banking or IT firms also, or research firms also. But majority of people tend to go down to entrepreneurship. And I'll let Sonia take that up at one of the Mythbusters also later. But to address this point, what is this business support? What is this entrepreneur development and business setup class? This is where we help you to get started. How do you become an entrepreneur? What is your mission? What is your goal? How will you achieve that goal? What is your company's identity, your identity? What is that entire product, service, pricing, marketing, sales, business development? We teach you to develop an entire business plan. By the end of it, you have that business plan, and then you get into the one-on-one coaching. You have a business coach who's going to guide you to really get started on those one-on-one coaching sessions. All right. Once you've achieved this, the mentorship also has a second side of it, the lifetime support. Now, this is where any alumni or students who can come back to the institute for that support, for that guidance, may that be career opportunities they'd like to discuss, business ideas they would like to debate upon, feedback that they're looking for, or maybe they're stuck in a particular client where they just don't know how to solve that problem. That's when you work and go back to your mentors and get that support. All right. So that is the third phase of it. As I said, after these three phases, that's when you become a certified image consultant and can start working in this domain. And when you're going to start working in this domain, there are limitless career opportunities. We've listed 15 here, but trust me, if you have a true discussion with any of us or our mentors or program advisors, there are limitless opportunities. People have been doing things which were never even kind of categorized into a career. So truly, it is totally dependent on what your passion is and how this program, how this education, how this foundation is going to help you create that house and that finally that building. And all of these 15 things that are listed here could be different floors on your building itself. You might start with one of them. You might start by becoming an image consultant, but then later on, you might add another level to your building, which could be a bridal stylist. You might add another level on your building, which could be an etiquette coach. You might add another level on your building, which could be a personal shopper. That's how this profession really works. I will let Sonia explain that in more detail, but all right. Sonia, I would like to now give it back to you. If you would like to now just take over a few examples of successful alumni and case studies, and then obviously do share your Mythbusters and a few bits of tips on your experience also.
Sure. Thanks, Ashwin. So yes, let me share a few of the success stories. And as Ashwin said, that there are just 15, so that we have mapped out till now, and we are mapping more and more every single day. So here is the story of Shreja. Shreja Sarkar is from batch of 2018, and she's a now renowned celebrity stylist and image consultant. She has worked with many celebs. We have not put in pictures over here, but yes, Guru Randhawa, Dhoni, Hrithik Roshan, and many such other well-known people. She has also done styling for ads, movies, photo shoots. She has created custom clothes for brands, for companies, done image makeover, created uniforms, working on a lot of web series also. So have an extensive experience of 3 to 4 years of just working on the domain and the expertise of celebrity styling. Um, Going to another story over here, Nidhi Bhardwaj Sharma. She comes from a from a corporate background of approximately 14, 15 years of experience. And she was working in a retail company, Aditya Birla Group in retail, and from the product side of it. And from that, she shifted and switched to the career of image management. She's also running her own salon in Lucknow with the name of Glam Studio. She's also an empowerment coach. Other than just running her salon, she does a lot of work extensively for students in various universities, in colleges. As she said, she's an empowerment coach. So she does a lot of motivation training, soft skills training. Other than that, one-on-one consultation, she focuses on image consulting, color analysis, and personal shopping to all the people who come to her as an individual. So Shreja was an example of someone who just fresh out of college started and picked the career of image consulting. And that was one of the first career of celebrity styling and image management. And Nidhi Bhardwaj is a great example of someone having already an established career in a corporate world and then shifting the gears to another career altogether and becoming successful and doing fabulous in that as well. Another story is Varsha. Varsha has been a homemaker, completely dedicated to her family, to her kids. And yes, once her kids were grown up, she was like, now is the time I want to do something for myself. And this is where Varsha actually enrolled with us. Varsha and Amit Chaturvedi, both of them you can see in the picture right here on the top. So yes, both of them are alumni of our institute. And Varsha decided to go ahead with the program. She was batch of actually 2018, and her focus is completely on personal image consulting, color analysis, dining etiquette. She's also grooming girls for the beauty pageants, and that is her expertise. She does a lot of finishing training and finishing school training, and a lot of beauty pageant training as well. So she's a founder of V-Chic Image Consultancy and a great example of someone who's a homemaker and then shifted into the career and having a successful career in image consulting. And yeah, means let's move on to, so these are a few success stories and there are many others. Let's move on to now Mythbusters, some of the myths about image consulting. So yes, the first one, this is the most common one. A lot of people still think that image consulting only is about putting people in expensive clothes. Actually, there are many layers, many answers to this particular myth. But first of all, no, this is a big myth. And this is not exactly the truth. What we do is we actually dress people as per their budgets, as per their roles, and as per what image they would like to project for themselves. Okay, so it is basically finding the highest version or the highest standards of what you want to project to other people, and keeping in mind your budgets, your lifestyle, where you are in your current position right now, how much you can spend or not spend altogether. Is on the basis of that we decide what image, and it's not just about clothes, even related to body language, to communication, what image you're going to project to other people. Another very important thing about this is that it's actually other way around. When you get to work with an image consultant, you don't spend money, you in fact save money, because image consultants are trained with a lot of different tools, or you can say different ways that they actually become more. Means if sustainable fashion is now that is trending, but image consultants have been following sustainability since the origin of this concept. There are various concepts such as shopping from your closet, shop your closet, which means that an image consultant, before even taking to you to the store, will actually open up your wardrobe and will find the best pieces for you, in mix and match them in ways that you have never thought of before, and will end up giving you new outfits out of your own wardrobe. And that's how they are more economical. In terms of personal shopping, we just don't take you without doing any research or any understanding of your own goals and lifestyle and color and everything to the market, we first do extensive research, a lot of analysis is done, and only a very specific shopping list is created on the basis of what's missing in your wardrobe. And then you go for personal shopping. There are high chances that sometimes when you go personal shopping, the image consultants only come back with a list of 1 or 2 or 3 items. It's not a laundry list, and you don't really carry around 10 bags. You don't just shop the entire store in one day. That does not happen. So, in fact, we actually are people who teach you how to save more money, and it's not at all about spending on expensive clothes. So I hope that bursts that particular myth. There is not much money in image consulting. This is the biggest myth of all times. In fact, if I have to tell you about my personal, so I would just basically share my story over here. So I live in Mumbai, and I started my career in image consulting 11, 12 years ago, approximately, about to be 12 now. So before that, I was working and having a corporate job, and Mumbai is not my hometown. So I completed my MBA. So I'm just going to take you back into a little bit in history. So I completed my MBA from Pune, and I got placed in Mumbai. So this was a completely new city for me, and I was working over here in a market research company, and on a salary which I was earning, which was really less for me. And yes, I had to manage my own expenses, pay my own bill, take care of everything. 2 years down the line, I got promoted and moved to the next job. And that was a big jump for me. I was actually earning a very good salary after just within 1-2 years, 1 year, 1.5 years of my career. I was on a lakh rupee and more salary. And at that point of time, and this was also during the time of recession, so I was very comfortable earning a lakh and taking care of my bills, and and I don't really hide my numbers because this is a fact. So I'm sharing the numbers all out with you, and so that you know that there is money or not. Okay, so yes, means I was earning a very good paycheck. It was coming month after month. It was absolutely fantastic. I was buying the things I want, spending on the things I want, traveling wherever I would want. But there was always this thing at the back of my mind that I want to do something of my own and in the field of image consulting. So I started studying. I funded my own education. I funded my own program out of my own salary, took care of my bills also. And after a point of time, I decided to take the plunge to leave my corporate job. At the time when the world was recovering from the recession of 2008, I decided to take the plunge, leave my well-paid job that was coming month after month in my bank account, and jump into the field of image consulting without taking any support from family or anybody else. I saved enough just for 6 months, okay, so that I could just survive and take care of my bills for 6 months, and I gave it my all. And if I have to tell you, yes, the first 6 months was little tough, because when you get into it for the first time, you have to put in your heart and soul into it. But what actually made things work for me, I'll tell you a little bit later. I'm just first of all telling you the trajectory. So the first 6 months, in fact, first 7 months were really tough. I would not paint a rosy picture that things started working overnight for me. There was actually no work at all for the first 6 months in image consulting. So what I did, I actually started picking up projects on consulting basis, on the basis of my previous job expertise. So I did that to just cover up my bills. The first 6 months, there was no work at all. I was just trying to do as much as work on pro bono basis to just build my system. 7 months later, I got my first client, very little, which was just 10% of my actual salary. So if I was at a lakh, I got 10,000 rupees for my first job ever. It was a 1 day work or 2 days work actually. But yes, that was my first paycheck. So if I had to compare, and I now think about the mindset, I got paid for the first work for 2 days of 10,000 rupees. Now, a lot of people actually do this mistake, that they say that, oh, I used to get a lakh rupee and now I just got 10,000 rupees for my first client. But when I got that 10,000 rupees in my hand, my first paycheck, I looked at it and I was like, 2 days, and 10,000 rupees. So that means per day, 5,000 rupees. That means 30 days, 3 lakh rupees, right? That's 1.5 lakh rupees. What's the number is? Approximately like that. 30 into 5, how much is that? 15, 1,50,000 rupees. And that was the maths that went into my head. And I was like, this is the starting point of my career, means this is the opportunity. I can go to 1.5 lakh rupees if I'm working 30 days, giving all 30 days. And if I get better in it, there is no limit. The more I will put into it, because this is not a job, the more I'll put into it, the output will be even more. And this was when I was working. So that's what happened. Let me just take you through the journey a little bit more ahead. So I continued on this, and the clients started keep coming. It was on and off, on and off. 1.5 years later, okay, 1 year later, I started earning what I was earning in my previous job. 1.5 year later, I was at double the paycheck that I was earning in my first job. I was at 2 lakh rupees earning month on month, and that was just within 15 months. How did that happen? What magic I did? Was I lucky? Not at all. Lucky is a word that actually does not exist in my dictionary. In fact, luck is labor under correct knowledge. Okay, if you have to understand the full form, it's labor, hard labor, putting in your effort under correct knowledge. And that's what I did. I thought about it. Now, taking back to the mindset. When I got that 5,000 rupees for a day's work, 6 hours, that was 6 hours of investment that I had to make for a day. And that gave me 5,000 rupees. The next day, another 6 hours and 5,000 rupees. And then I looked back and I looked at my job and I realized I used to put 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours every day at my company, sitting in front of the computer. And that used to give me that much money. And I'm now working only for half a day. So if I push myself to work the same number of hours, I would be getting the same return. So 2 things that, or 3 lessons that I would want to give you over here. First of all, if you have a particular number and you're comparing it with your salary, do not expect a full-time salary from a part-time job. If you're doing that, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Take my word for it. If you were earning 1 lakh rupee for 8 hours or 10 hours of work, you need to start putting in 8 to 10 hours in your business also to start expecting. And the process will be slow. Did you expect a very handsome salary on the day one of your career? Not at all. So how can you expect the really amazing return and business and investment coming back to you on day one of your business? So set the expectations right. That's second. And third thing, that there is money because there are so many different avenues altogether. As Ashwin was talking about, each layer is an expertise and each layer can add to your portfolio. There are enough number of people. Everyone needs an image consultant in different shapes and form. I did not restrict myself to any particular thing at the beginning of my career. My niche became later on in personal branding, executive presence. I decided on my niche 4 years later. But the first 3.5 years, I did everything that was possible. I did not restrict myself that no, I will not do this. Any work that came my way, which I had the correct knowledge and the tools of, I said yes, and I picked it up. So you have to be open, you have to learn, you have to try, and eventually actually make your own niche into the area. But yes, the more opportunity, it gives you the opportunity to work as per your flexible timeline. The more you put into it, the more you get. There are hundreds of avenues that you can actually look into where there are possibilities of generating revenue. You are in the business of your mind, your knowledge. What you have over here is the most important thing that you are selling to people. And there are many people who are looking out for people like you who would want that. So yes, there is enough. And I have just shared my numbers with you. So this is what I could do. And if I could do it 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, then why can't you do it today? I'm talking about the day when there were only 5 or 6 practicing image consultants in India. When I would go out and people look at me with a question mark in the city of Mumbai, that what is image consulting? And now there's so much more. When I would do a Google research on image consulting, and it would land onto only 5 pages. The Google research used to move on to only 5 pages. The opportunity is huge today. So that's the second myth, that yes, there is busted right there, that there's a lot of money in image consulting. Moving on to the next one. Image consulting is different from soft skills, not at all. In fact, they are, you have to, let's say, okay, let's put it in a different way. All of you are on your mobile or your computers right now, right? So the mobile and the computer, you need 2 things for the device to work. There is hardware and there's software, okay? If you have to talk about the hardware, that's the tech, that's the machinery and everything else. And then the software is the operating system that's running it. Similarly, even human beings have hard skills and soft skills. Hard skill is your knowledge, is your technical knowledge, your education that you gain in your school and college. Soft skills is all your behavior, your communication, how you deal emotionally, mentally, psychologically. That's what soft skills is. Image consulting is not different from soft skills. It's basically working, or image management, if I have to talk about, it's taking your soft skills, enhancing it, taking control of your soft skills, enhancing it to project yourself in the best possible way to other people. So soft skills and image consulting work with each other hand in hand. It's not different. It's like a tandem. It's like if you go paragliding or skydiving, you have a tandem pilot, you have to jump together. Image management and soft skills work together with each other. So they are not different. In fact, they support each other. Only celebrities need image consultants, not at all. Not when you have a person in the villages of India becoming an influencer on Instagram, on TikTok. Every influencer needs an image consultant. So no celebrity, every person who's online, who is putting up their profile on LinkedIn needs an image consultant. Any person who wants to create their own image, project themselves in the best possible version, become the best version of themselves, needs an image consultant. So that's your last myth that is busted.